Hey guys, just want to do a quick review on my RSCB bow and arrow. This is a vintage blaster made by Nerf. A lot of people have done this type of mod to this blaster. It is fun. You're going to get completely inconsistent ranges and ways to try to aim this gun, but it was just made for fun. I like shooting it outdoors and just lobbing darts up in the air. In close combat, when I've tried it, I've failed miserably at hitting my target. But overall, really fun. If you ever get your hands on one, I would suggest doing something to it, just because it's a really fun blaster to mod. Alright, here are the internals of this RSCB bow and arrow. I have the stock plunger tube. At some point, though, I'd like to find a good replacement for this, as the last inch and a half of this plunger tube widens, and so the plunger rod, when it's coming down for this last inch, a lot of air escapes behind it. But it's a big enough volume that it doesn't really seem to matter too much. But on here I have a CPVC, and there is a little bit of a bit of a stub of CPVC that kind of enters the plunger tube, and then around here glued in and then gooped, and then obviously joined up here for the T. And then this is PETG, but this is 5/8 PETG that I found at a fish store locally here. And then at the back you have another piece of regular PETG that most of Nerf is familiar with. That's the 9/16. So this makes a little PETG breech. And then here obviously is the barrel. So with this setup, I'm able to load all the darts in the back, close that up, and then have that be all set. As for the plunger rod, this is nothing new. I have the stock spring, and I've also got a K18 spring on here. This little nub in the back is to keep the bungee aligned, so that it doesn't slip up and down, and so that the travel of the bungee is fairly straight and so that it's consistent. As to the tip here, this is padded with some foam, and around here I've put in some hot glue just to keep the seal out a bit. But other than that, this is pretty much stock. And as to the shell, I do have a setup here for the bungee. I have my favorite structural, non-structural filler of hot glue. Here, that's kind of buried within the hot glue, is a screw that is also on the other side. This bungee then fits into this slot and then sits down within the glue and in this slot. It's been trimmed down a bit so that it's a little bit flush with the shell. That way it's not really pushing into the plunger rod, and then obviously moves around to the other side where there is also a lot more hot glue with another screw on there. One thing that I do need to do, just haven't gotten around to, is to set a bolt from the main body into the handle here, because a lot of the times, from what I've seen and heard from people, is that with this modification, a lot of the stress kind of comes here, and a lot of people seem to see the break happen here with a lot of these modifications. Alright, and here are the internals, just everything put together in the shell. As you can see, this little hole here that is in the upper part of the shell, I think it was for a sight of sorts, houses the RSCB. There's a bit of E-tape here just to kind of set that in so that it's firm and doesn't wiggle around. Comes down here. The shell on this end was cut off. Here's an example from the other side. So trimmed this down, the front down as well, so that it accepts the CPVC. This part had to open up a bit more as well to accept that, but this, which accepts the RSCB, actually fits it very well. That doesn't need any trimming down. And here on the elbow of the CPVC are also little nubs of CPVC, and that helped to hold this entire piece from coming out and it is really solid there. The sides of the elbow have been sanded down as well, just to help fit it into the shell really nice and snug. So again, great blaster, fun to mod, fun to play around with outside. Total fail, as you could see from all of the shots that completely missed the target. But like I said, there are other Nerfers who are much better at using this than I am. Just haven't had a chance to take it out on the field enough. But hopefully one day I'll get this out there and at a war and actually make myself competent at using it. Either way, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think, and see you guys later.